Mr. Robinson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. At this time, the company calls witnesses Retha Hunsaker, Leslie Quick, and Don Schneider. Thank you, and I'll start with Ms. Hunsaker and then go alphabetically by last name. Ms. Hunsaker, please state your full name and your business address for the record.
My name is Retha Irene Hunsaker. My business address is 400 South Tryon in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my title is Vice President, Customer Connect Solutions.
By whom are you employed and in what capacity?
I'm employed by Duke Energy Business Services, and my capacity is Vice President of Customer Connect.
And did you cause to be pre-filed in this docket 19 pages of direct testimony and 1 exhibit?
I did.
Did you also pre-file an errata to your direct testimony on February 11th, 2019?
Yes.
Do you have any other changes or corrections to your direct testimony or exhibit?
I do not.
Is your testimony and exhibit, were they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And if I asked you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, they would.
Ms. Hunsaker, did you also cause to be pre-filed rebuttal testimony consisting of 7 pages?
Yes.
Do you have any changes or corrections to your rebuttal testimony?
No, I don't.
And is your rebuttal testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
And if I asked you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would ask that the pre-filed direct and rebuttal testimony of Ms. Hunsaker be copied into the record as if given orally from the stand today.
Ms. Hunsaker's pre-filed direct and rebuttal testimony will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I also ask that Ms. Hunsaker's direct exhibit be marked for identification.
Okay, Ms. Hunsaker's exhibit will be hearing exhibit number 20.
Okay, I'll move on to Ms. Quick. Ms. Quick, please state your full name and your business address for the record.
Leslie Quick, 400.
Get right, get that thing pointed towards you. There you go.
Leslie Quick,
That's
400 South Tryon, Charlotte, North Carolina.
And by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Duke Energy, Vice President of Revenue Services.
Ms. Quick, did you cause to be pre-filed in this docket 12 pages of rebuttal testimony?
Yes.
And do you have any changes or corrections to your rebuttal testimony?
No.
And are they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
If I asked you the same question today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would ask that the pre-filed rebuttal testimony of Ms. Quick be copied into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Ms. Quick's rebuttal testimony will be entered into the record as if given orally from the stand.
I'll move on to Mr. Schneider. Mr. Schneider, please state your full name and your business address for the record.
Yes, Donald L. Schneider, 400 South Tryon, Charlotte, North Carolina.
By whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Duke Energy Business Services, General Manager of AMI Program Management.
Mr. Schneider, did you cause to be pre-filed in this docket 16 pages of direct testimony?
Yes, I did.
And do you have any changes or corrections to your direct testimony?
I do not.
And is your direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
And if I asked you the same questions today, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would ask that the pre-filed direct testimony of Mr. Schneider be copied into the record as if given orally from the stand today.
Mr. Schneider's pre-filed direct testimony will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Ms. Hunsaker, Ms. Quick, and Mr. Schneider, do you all have summaries of your testimonies?
Yes.
Would you please start providing that summary to the Commission, starting with Ms. Hunsaker?
Yes. My direct testimony discusses the Customer Information System, or CIS, used by Duke Energy Carolinas, LLC, and explains why it is necessary to convert that system into a modern customer service platform known as Customer Connect. Particularly, the current system is over 20 years old and is past the point where bolt-on systems or upgrades are effective. Our business and our customers' needs are very different than they were when the original system was constructed. and industry research confirms that customer expectations are changing. The more fluid and consumers benchmark against other customer service companies such as Amazon, FedEx, where there is transparency and awarenesses in their process. Through the plan and initiate phase of the program, the company leveraged industry research to better understand customer expectations, and based on collective experiences with our current CIS, knew the new system needed to be configurable, adaptable, and customer-centric, not just a replacement of our meter to cash. Customer Connect is the next generation platform with the new customer engagement, integrated operations, and analytical capabilities that will provide the customer with more choice, more convenience, and control over how they do business with Duke Energy. The company began deploying new capabilities in 2018 and will continue to have system functionalities in service and beneficial to our customers every year of the program, leading up to full deployment in the Duke Energy Carolinas in 2021. The company is seeking to adjust its test year operating and maintenance expense associated with the project from $0.7 million to $4.7 million, which reflects the average expected annual O&M expense over the next 2 years from 2019 through 2020. The company derived these forecasted expenses using the best and final offers from the selected vendors as the foundation for these estimates. My rebuttal testimony responds to ORS Witnesses Payne's recommendation to disallow the projected 2-year average O&M expense because he argues the costs are not known and measurable. In response to Witness Payne, I explained the company's calculation of incremental O&M expense for 2019 and 20 clearly meet the known and measurable standard. 1, the company has entered into fixed contracts with multiple vendors to deploy the program. 2, the contract contains provisions requiring the company to provide specific levels of internal labor to support this work. And 3, the fixed contracts contain specific price terms. I further explained the disciplined process the company used to forecast the expenses. Lastly, I reiterate the company's commitment to Customer Connect and discuss the capabilities and benefits the program has and will continue to enable for our customers. This concludes the summary of my direct and rebuttal testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Hunziker. Ms. Quick.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My rebuttal testimony addresses ORS Witnesses Gabi Smith's recommendation to not include the company's growth projections in its proposed adjustment for credit, debit, and automated clearinghouse payment expenses, which I will refer to as collectively as credit card expenses. And the South Carolina State Conference of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the South Carolina Coastal Conservation League, and Upstate Forever witness John Howitt's request for Duke Energy Carolinas to publicly file with the Commission monthly data regarding general residential and low-income customer accounts by zip code, including billing, receipts, arrearages, notices of disconnections, bill payment arrangements, disconnections of service for non-payment, reconnections of service after disconnection for non-payment, accounts written off as uncollectible, and accounts sent to collection agencies. In response to ORS Witness Smith, I explained that the company's proposal is to allow residential customers to make payments through several methods without incurring a transaction fee. We know that customers want more fee-free methods available to them, and this program is designed to give them exactly that. However, I explained that unless a growth projection is included in the adjustment, the company will be penalized for implementing a program designed to improve our customer satisfaction with their payment experience, since it will not be able to collect the full cost of the program, since we project significant growth in credit card usage by our customers once the program is deployed. I then go on to describe the company's process to forecast the growth projection based on historical data and industry research to demonstrate the reasonableness of the calculation. In response to Witness Howitt, I explained that the company does not currently track the information requested by Howitt by zip code or socioeconomic status in the normal course of its business. Currently, any attempt to provide the requested data by zip code would require the company to perform a series of ad hoc queries on the company's systems to extract the data without a clear way to verify its accuracy. I also share applicability and potential privacy concerns with the data requested and distinguish the company from other state-mandated requirements in other jurisdictions as it pertains to this type of data. This includes a summary of my rebuttal testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Quick. Mr. Schneider?
Yes, if I could be the first to say good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and fellow commissioners. The purpose of my testimony is to discuss the company's implementation of AMI technology, including deployment timelines in the Duke Energy Carolinas, South Carolina service territory, and the resulting benefits for customers. An AMI system consists of an advanced meter, a field area network, commonly known as FAN, and back-office systems that manage and maintain data collected from the meters. AMI meters, or often referred to as smart meters, are digital electric meters with advanced capabilities that include two-way communications, interval usage measurement, tamper detection, voltage and reactive power measurement, and net metering capability. As of September 30th, 2018, the company had installed about 590,000 smart meters across our South Carolina service territory, and the company is essentially complete with our AMI deployment. Utilities and electric cooperatives have been installing smart meters in South Carolina for years, but for customers who do not wish to have a smart meter installed, Duke Energy Carolinas offers an opt-out program and has enrolled 417 customers through the end of September 2018. Today, customers with smart meters have access to detailed information about their hourly and daily usage patterns, which allows them to make more informed choices regarding their energy usage. Customers with smart meters benefit from the convenience of remote meter reading and remote disconnect and reconnect capabilities, eliminating the need for a technician to come to the customer's premise. During storm outages, damage assessment and repair verification can be done much more quickly when customers have a smart meter. The deployment of AMI technology has resulted in a positive impact on the company's costs. The company estimates the costs it avoided due to remote customer order fulfillment were approximately $167,000 in 2016 and $540,000 in 2017. The company has also estimated operational savings in costs it otherwise would have occurred for monthly meter reading. The company estimates the costs it avoided due to the ability to read meters remotely each month were approximately $273,000 in 2016 and $524,000 in 2017. With AMI implementation, the company is currently able to offer 3 new customer programs. Pick Your Due Date, which allows customers to select a billing due date that best aligns with their needs, and Usage Alerts, which provides alerts during the billing cycle that shows charges to date and forecasts to month-end bill. Customers are notified that these programs are available to them once their meter is installed and ready for billing. Prepaid Advantage allows eligible customers greater payment flexibility, allowing frequent cash payments, which may help customers better manage their finances. Prepaid Advantage does not require a deposit fee, allowing customers to use funds to which they otherwise would not have access to. In this proceeding, the company has proposed to open Prepaid Advantage as of June 1st, 2019 for all our eligible customers, remove it from the pilot status, remove the customer cap, and make the program available to customers across the entire Duke Energy Carolinas jurisdiction. This concludes the summary of my direct testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider. Mr. Chairman, the witnesses are available for cross-examination.
Thank you. Vote Solar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if it pleases the chair, I'll go ahead and circulate a hearing exhibit. I'm going to keep this very brief.
Go right ahead.
And also, we'll be using the Elmo, so I'm going to go ahead and put a document there. All right, day 2 and already learning how to use it. That's good. Ms. Hunsaker, most of my questions are going to be for you and are going to pertain to the bill presentation. And do you recognize this data request that I have handed out to you as a hearing exhibit? And actually, first, I'm sorry, I've gotten out of order. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce this hearing exhibit and have it marked for identification.
It will be marked as exhibit number 21.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, before we begin, I just want to give Retha an opportunity to just review it quickly before you ask your questions.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and accept that into the record, too. I didn't say that. I think you asked to have it moved in and marked.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Hunsaker, sorry. Since we're very close to lunch, let's start with that. When you go to lunch today and you get a receipt, do you expect you might check that to make sure you were charged the right items?
Absolutely.
And if this restaurant was not transparent in charging for refills and you saw that you were charged for refills, might you change your behavior upon return to that restaurant? And
I might.
Okay. Or maybe not go back to the restaurant. But customers of a utility do not have that option, is that right?
That's correct.
And would it be reasonable to you to expect this is typical consumer behavior, to check the receipt?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if we could just turn now to what I've put up on the screen here. This is the Bates numbering 4 of the hearing exhibit, number 21 I handed out. Do you recognize this to be a typical residential bill? This is, I believe, Schedule RE.
I do.
Okay. And would you agree that the BFC is not currently listed on these bills?
That's correct.
And is this rate schedule in particular, does it have tiers of usage?
I'm not familiar. I believe it does, subject to check.
Okay, so there's also no information on whether the customer is into a Tier 2 usage?
Yes, that's correct.
So a customer cannot know if the company were to change its BFC to $28, they wouldn't know by looking at the receipt how much their kilowatt hour rate would be. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And like I said, I will keep this very brief. Do you have an estimate of how much it would cost to reprogram the current system to be able to show just the basic facilities charge, setting aside the tier usage?
I do not have an estimate. I do know that as we move forward with Customer Connect, we'll be making sure that those things are detailed out. That is one of the requirements that we are designing to. Our current systems are very old. They were built 20 years ago, and being able to break things out is very difficult.
Sure, thank you. And if you look at the portion I have highlighted there, can you identify what that line item is for me?
It says fixed monthly leaf 50C charges.
Okay, and specifically, does that refer to a DER program cost?
I am not familiar with that.
Not familiar. Are you familiar that item, has that item always appeared on residential bills? Let me ask it that way.
Subject to check, I would agree with that. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, well, in that case, I will maybe save that question for another witness.
Perhaps a witness Piro can help you with that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I will ask one last question. This has nothing to do with the hearing exhibit before you, but did any member of this panel appear before the North Carolina Utilities Commission on February 26th for a hearing on, I believe it would be the AMI-enabled rate design?
I did.
And would you mind providing just a very brief overview of why the commission brought you before them that day? And what was the purpose of that hearing?
I will walk through that. Dawn was there with me, so we can talk about that together. We were brought in to talk about how we think about leveraging AMI data in conjunction with new rate design. And so we had a lot of discussion about what new rate design pilots could look like or should look like, and around some filings that we were going to do to enable customer behavior changes through rates and other products and services.
And was one of the critiques of the commission in North Carolina that the company was putting the cart before the horse somewhat and rolling out AMI before it had the capabilities on the customer information system to do some of these more advanced functions?
Yes, I could speak to that. I do believe they did make that comment. And I think they were referring to the fact that the Customer Connect system will not be available immediately upon the completion of our AMI deployment. I don't know that it's a fair statement, because there are plenty of other customer benefits and other programs that are available to customers basically day one when they receive their meter. This was when we talk about different types of rates, that is kind of above and beyond what the AMI foundational program can provide. So,
thank you. And Ms. Hunsaker particularly, has the company made any adjustments to its kind of phasing of the Customer Connect program, prioritizing certain jurisdictions over others since it was first announced? And how does that impact South Carolina?
So we have made a decision on final order of deployment across the jurisdictions. That was always planned to be done once we exited design, which happened in March. And so we have ordered those. DEC will be the first jurisdiction that goes to Customer Connect, which is the spring of 21. The second jurisdiction will be Florida, which will be the fall of 21. Then we'll go to DEP. So DEP will be converted in the spring of 22, followed by the Midwest in the fall of 22.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. That concludes my questions.
Thank you. NAACP, Coastal Conservation League, and Upstate Forever.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Mr. Schneider, is it true that the AMI technology you manage, which includes smart meters, gives customers more detailed usage, even down to the hour, through a company online portal?
that is correct.
Did you testify that the smart meters give customers more control over their energy consumption?
Yes, I did.
Is it true that the company is giving customers access to more detailed information through this technology so they can make more informed choices regarding how they use energy?
Yes, that's true.
Is it correct that smart meters also can enable new rate designs?
Correct.
Is it true that because of the smart meters, the company is now able to and has begun to offer customers new services and programs?
Yes, that is correct.
Is it correct that one of those programs is called Pick Your Date, where customers can select their due date to better align with their needs?
Yes, we're calling it Pick Your Due Date.
Pick Your Due Date. Correct. Another one of those programs is called Usage Alerts, where customers can get mid-billing forecasts of their month-end bill and threshold alerts, which notify them when their charges are close to or exceeding their monthly budget. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is it true that these features are intended to allow customers to adjust their energy usage before the end of a billing cycle?
That is correct, and there are studies out there, EPRI and the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, ACE, that have shown that customers, just by having that more detailed information available to them and thereby adjusting their usage habits, can see anywhere from 5 to 10% decrease in their usage.
5 to 10% decrease in their usage.
That is what the studies, or I don't know if they're studies or papers, but the EPRI and the ACEE papers.
Great, thank you. Is it true that the usage alert program participants can also set and change their alert preferences and set a budgeted dollar amount and change their alert channel so they get the information via text message?
That is correct.
When the company first proposed to increase the basic facility charge by 237% to $28 per month for residential customers, did the company analyze what effect that would have on any of the two programs enabled by advanced metering infrastructure that I've asked you about today?
So I don't take part in the rate decisions or changes around the basic facilities charge, so I'm not sure if that occurred or not.
Any ideas as to who at the company may be able to answer that?
That would be likely witness Smith.
Ms. Hunsaker, is it true that the current customer information system was not designed to support capabilities like advanced pricing structures, billing options, and tools for customers to better manage their energy consumption?
That is true. The current system was created in 1995. There were very different customer expectations. At the time, it was state-of-the-art, but we have fallen behind, and that's part of the reason that we need the Customer Connect platform to be able to react to the changing needs of our consumers.
For example, is it correct that you testified that the current customer information system does not enable ready access to account histories?
It does not do it in a way that is easy. That's correct.
Did you testify that industry research shows, and I think you referred to this in your summary, that customers benchmark the company against other companies where there is transparency and awareness in their processes, and that customers expect the same thing from their utility?
Yes, I did.
Is it true, and I think Mr. Culley covered this, but just to be clear, that the company combines the basic facility charge and the volumetric charge together and presents them as a single amount on residential customers' bills?
That's what occurs today, yes.
Is it true that the company has performed consumer testing to gather customer feedback on the design of the company's new bill format?
Yes. What we have done is we contracted with a company to come in and give us feedback on our current bills across all jurisdictions. We got that feedback, we incorporated that into prototypes, and then we went out to a number of our consumers across every jurisdiction and did a bit of A/B testing. So tell us what you like better, A or B. We took that feedback and pulled it into the prototypes that we're designing for the future.
Do you know the name of that company with which you...
Ms. Lansky and Partners.
Could you spell that, please?
Yes, 1 second, please. It's Maslansky.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And could you clarify for me that the new bill format, will that be introduced in spring 2021 or in early 2020?
There will be an initial new bill format, a universal format that will be introduced early next year, 2020's March, April timeframe. The intent of the new bill format at that point is to get our customers used to where we're going from a bill formatting perspective. So that will still be based off of legacy. And when we implement the new system in spring of 21, we'll have greater information to put on the bills based off the new CIS. So there will be an initial implementation in 2020 and then more granular data in 2021.
Did you testify that the universal bill format will help customers more easily view and understand their bill and energy usage?
Yes.
Has the company ever listed the basic facilities charge separately on residential customers' bills?
I do not believe they have done that in DEC or DEP in other jurisdictions. We do have that broken out.
Do you know which other jurisdictions that is broken out?
I believe it is broken out and I'm going to talk about it by systems. We have a legacy system in the Midwest, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. I believe it's broken out there. It's broken out in Florida. It is not broken out in DEC or DEP currently.
Will the new bill format, you mentioned to Mr. Culley that the new bill will break things out. By that, did you mean that the new bill format will list the basic facilities charge separately on residential customers' bills?
When we implement in 2021, it will certainly do that. We are looking at, is it possible to get that level of granularity in the 2020 deployment?
Ms. Quick, did you testify that the company already provides a significant level of detail pertaining to non-pay service disconnects?
Yes.
Did you testify that the company does not currently track disconnection data by zip code, and that if the company attempted to query its system for disconnection data by zip code, there would be no clear way to verify its accuracy?
Yes.
Ms. Quick, have you read Ms. Hunsaker's testimony?
No.
Are you aware? Well, I'm happy to put her testimony on the overhead projector. I don't know when people started calling it an Elmo, but when I was a kid, it was the overhead projector.
We had to keep it simple for some folks.
I hear you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm going to point to page 8 of Ms. Hunsaker's direct testimony. One second, please. You have it in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll put it on the Elmo overhead projector for others to see as well. Look to what line I'm going to refer to. I'm looking to page 8, starting at line 12. So looking to that, Ms. Hunsaker testified that the current customer information system stores customer information including address, name, telephone number, historical usage, and billing and payment information. Ms. Hunsaker, is that correct? Was that your testimony? Ms. Quick, did you testify that the company does not collect data that could be used to identify customers as low income?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsaker, did you testify that in June 2018, Customer Connect deployed a foundational component, which you called a tool set, to begin to know customers better?
That's correct. We're beginning to understand, as the testimony says, customer interactions they've had with the company, how customers' preferences, how they want to be interacted with. And we've begun to take customer experience data along with operational data, be able to combine that together and understand how we serve better off of that data.
Ms. Hunsaker, did you testify that Customer Connect manages billing, accounts receivable, rates, and will be the central repository for all customer information?
That's correct.
Ms. Hunsaker, did you testify that Customer Connect will link energy usage and metering to payments, collections, and disconnections?
It's all part of a CIS system. Yes, it has all of those linkages.
Ms. Hunsaker, did you testify that the new customer information system will enable a one customer view across Duke Energy, enabling the company to better know the individual customer?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Quick, given the capabilities that Ms. Hunsaker has described, wouldn't the company's new system be able to collect and maintain more data regarding billing, receipts, arrearages, notices of disconnection, bill payment agreements, reconnections after disconnection for non-payment, accounts sent to collections, and account write-offs, even if the company cannot do so now?
Yes, depending on what kind of detailed information you're requesting. I think by zip code, we can do that today in our current billing systems. We do not do that in our normal processes, so we would have to run some ad hoc queries. But I think what was stated in the testimony and Howard's testimony was more around socioeconomic status.
I'm asking you just today about the Customer Connect that is to be deployed.
It sounds like we will have more additional information.
So it sounds like yes.
What information?
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Sure. Given the capabilities that Ms. Hunsaker has described, would not the company's new system be able to collect and maintain more data regarding billing, receipts, arrearages, notices of disconnection, bill payment agreements, reconnections after disconnection for non-payment, accounts sent to collections, and write-offs, even if it cannot do so now?
Yes, depending on what is meant by more data.
Ms. Hunsaker, do you have any thoughts on that question?
I think I will be able to get more information on the same type of data that we have today, but we'll be able to more easily navigate through that data.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sierra Club. Thank you. Energy users.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Walmart. Okay. ORS. We're going to lunch anyway. I'm just going to see if you had any questions. I just thought I'd challenge you with that. I saw what you'd asked. Okay. We're going to break, and I've been told to remind the witnesses to please not discuss your testimony with counsel or with each other during the break. And we will return at 1:42. We're adjourned for lunch.